Harry Reid, I think, used to be a man of principle. I don't know. I didn't know Harry Reid. I still don't know Harry Reid. I really, truly, like Thad Cochran, believe something's wrong with Harry Reid. I don't say that with malice. I say that with concern. And his family should probably say, Dad, at least in Thad Cochran's situation, it's quite clear Dad's gone a little bit to the retirement home. And again, I don't say that with malice, but let him go. He is showing at least the early signs of dementia. And I think Harry Reid is too. Now, Stu has a theory that he's just, what is it?
Evil. Yeah. He's evil and senile. Mm-hmm. Some combination. And we go back and forth on the percentages there. As I was looking through something, the big article about him talking about the Koch brothers and the reason he's talking about them all the time. And this made me lean hard towards the evil part of evil. When this is how they came up with this.
Where is this from? What's
this
the source?
Is Politico, and it's a long article. It's worth a read if you feel like it's behind Harry Reid's war against the Koch brothers, and talking about how he came up with it, why he's doing it, and in addition, how big Democratic donors are scared of it because they're obviously guilty of the exact same things that the Koch brothers are supposedly guilty of, and so they don't necessarily like this angle. But as they were coming up with the strategy, Senate Democrats huddled for their annual retreat at Nationals Park, where they heard a presentation from business messaging gurus Chip and Dan Heath, who touched on the effectiveness of identifying foils. So how do you make one of these things stick? Their breakout book, Made to Stick, Why Some Ideas Survive and Others Die, asserts that in order to gain traction for ideas, it is helpful to replicate some facets of urban legends and conspiracy theories. They encourage readers to make their ideas about people rather than abstractions and tap into emotions such as fear, disgust, and suspicion.
That's exactly what he's doing with the Koch brothers. Every single day from the Senate floor, he's railing against these American citizens, these private individuals. It's despicable. That's exactly what he's doing.
And following that theory is not something you do as a senile person. That's something you do as an evil person.
Yeah.
So here is Harry Reid now doing the same thing against Hobby Lobby.
You know, we have so much to do this month, but the one thing we're going to do during this work period, sooner rather than later, is to ensure that women's lives are not determined by virtue of 5 white men. This Hobby Lobby decision is outrageous.
It's Hobby Lobby.
What's outrageous is that you
just made Clarence Thomas a white guy.
Yeah, for one thing.
Now I'm back to senile a little bit.
Yes.
You go from evil to senile. That's why you go with evil.
But on the evil side of this, here he is fighting against the religious liberty of Hobby Lobby, and for just the federal government mandating abortion, when he's supposedly a pro-life senator.
Which is obviously bullcrap.
That's
we know at this
bullcrap.
What was his NARAL rating?
7 times with NARAL, he's had a 100% rating.
And Glenn, in
addition
to this is what Samuel Alito wrote about this, the Hobby Lobby ruling. Regulations here violate the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. That was the basis of this ruling in large part. Well, that act was something proposed by Chuck Schumer and voted for by Harry Reid. It passed 97-3. These people are, it's hard to, again, I go back and forth. Is this something, or is he willingly just going out there and disagreeing with himself? Or is he just that senile and forgets he supported these positions in the past?
No, I think that he does forget these positions in the past. We have had people we know have had conversations with him and have said, so... you've been senator, you've been with this forever, and I think you can join us in this fight. And he has said, and this is a quote, well, I'm not sure if I'm for that anymore. I'll have to check.
With
whom? With whom, Senator?
What
do you mean you're not sure?
Majority leader of the Senate. What do you mean you're checking with?
Sure if you are for that anymore. And it is a really disturbing thing. And this is politics without principle. What are Harry Reid's principles? Honestly, what are Harry Reid's principles? His principles are not about let's not spread false rumor. Let's not.
No, he did that with Mitt Romney.
He's done that with the Koch brothers, and now he's doing it with Hobby Lobby. Mm-hmm. It's not about controlling a woman's life. That's not what it's about. Out of 18 different, out of about 18 different birth control devices, I think Hobby Lobby has 16 of them.
Yeah, 16 of 20, I think I read.
Yeah, okay, so it's 4 that they haven't done. 4. Mm-hmm. And those 4 are for abortion.
And those are the ones that are overwhelmingly used. The 16 that they've approved for usage are the ones overwhelmingly used by women.
And that to him is outrageous. Because that's how he
categorizes. It's murderous. He's murderous. He accused them of murder. He said women's lives are ending because of this. Yeah. What are you talking about? What evidence is there of that?
And beyond that, he does it in the name of religious liberty. And religious liberty, that is the thing with Hobby Lobby. This is a privately owned company. They are religiously against abortion. They have a right to be against abortion. If you don't want to work for Hobby Lobby, then don't go to work for Hobby Lobby. But it is reprehensible for Harry Reid to try to make these case. Look, you want to make a case against somebody not paying for abortions, then make that case. Make that case. But they don't. They never do. And it is so dishonorable that it's sad. And I'm sure that Harry Reid, I don't know him, and I didn't know him at the beginning. I'm sure at some point he was an honorable man. But as Orrin Hatch said to me, quote, I have never met anyone who came to this town and left a better man. Well, Orrin, Harry, Thad, Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, anybody who has just been elected, remember that. It's why George Washington had 2 terms and left. Now think of this. We know who George Washington really was. We know up until 1920, George Washington was the model for every single man. But because the politicians didn't see themselves, they saw themselves president, of course, he'd have to vacate. He'd have to leave. But soon as this dictatorship idea came with Mussolini and Hitler, which everyone on the progressive left loved until he started killing everybody, once that started happening, then they fell quiet. But they were for Stalin, they were for Mussolini, and they were for Hitler. And that's why all of a sudden our president started to stay 2, 3, 4 terms. They were trying to run Woodrow Wilson a 3rd term. He had a stroke. His wife was running the country. FDR finally did it. But everybody will look at the presidency, but nobody will look at the Senate. Why haven't these, quote, honorable men self-selected out? Because even King George said, if George Washington gives that seat up, if he actually does that, he will be the greatest man to ever live. These are not the greatest men to ever live.
No, and it's an embarrassment, by the way, that there is not one Republican who has proposed a constitutional amendment for term limits.
I will tell you this.
Jim DeMint did it, but now
I will tell you that Mike Lee has said it'll never pass.
So what? Every time gets people on record for that.
All right, our sponsor